Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Meet Praneeth. In today's video, we are going to discuss a very important topic that is all about the ICE raids happening across the country. Before we dive into the actual topic of the video, I wanted to talk about some recent developments that have taken place. So recently, the US consulates or the US has changed the rules of Dropbox eligibility. So the first question that comes to our mind is, what is Dropbox eligibility? So let's assume that you have already got your H-1B or any other visa stamped and you've gone through the interview process. Now, let's say you file for an extension of that visa, right? So if you file for an extension or a renewal of that visa, earlier the timeline was 48 months after the expiry. So let's say your visa got expired 4 years back and now you're filing, you might be still eligible for Dropbox, where you would just go do your fingerprints and submit all the documents to the consulate to review. And you don't need to go through an interview. They will review your documents, they'll review everything that you have given, and they will accordingly give you a stamped passport with the visa. But now that eligibility criteria has changed. So what specifically has changed is now that you can only do that Dropbox if your visa expiry or a stamp expiry is within the 12 months. So let's say last year at this time, my visa got expired. I do have the new approval, I-797 for H-1B example. But if I cross the 12-month mark, now I have to go through the visa interview and all that process again. So you have to file a new application, you have to go through the fingerprints, you have to go through the interview, and then only you'll get the new visa stamped. Now, why this is a little bit concerning. So let's say what happens if I just give you an example. So let's say you're an H-1B, you're working in the United States for, let's say, 10 years, right? Let's say last H-1B stamping was 3 or 4 years back. Now, because you know that there is a Dropbox eligibility and you have 48 months, you're not worried and you're not traveling. But let's say now you have to suddenly travel, right? And the Dropbox, you're not eligible for Dropbox anymore because the time period is just 12 months now after expiry. So what will happen is you'll have to basically file your DS-160, get your OFC appointment, get your interview appointment, and then get through the process once again as what you did in the first time. And that can take time, that can have delays, it can be a lot longer processing time. So that's why it's a little concerning. Anyways, I wanted to give this information that the time frame was 48 months after the expiry of the stamp or the visa stamp, but now they have reduced it to 12 months, and that could be concerning for a lot of people who generally are in H-1B and stuff. So do know, and some people might have this question that, well, I have an appointment, let's say in next 3 days or in the next week or 2 months. Well, they have to be, I think they will cancel your appointment and you'll have to restart the application. I think what I'm heard from the internet and from my research that your visa fees, if it's already paid, that you don't have to pay again, but you'll have to schedule the appointment from scratch. And I think on Reddit, it seems in subreddits, there are threads, people talking about that some of the people have already been returned from their OFC appointment because of this Dropbox eligibility change. So yeah, if you're planning to travel, make sure you have all the documents, make sure you're prepared for an interview and you have all the questions and you're prepared that you might be asked. So yeah, with that, I would now ask you to stay on the video and let's go through the topic of the video. Now, for those who don't know what ICE stands for, it's basically Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And this branch of Homeland Security is very important because it kind of maintains or upholds the public safety and enforces immigration law for people who are danger to the national security or are committing crimes or basically fall under any kind of threat, which basically bring any threat to the country. Now, after President Trump took oath, ICE has been very active. They have been active before as well, but now they are more active and they're trying to detain or arrest people who are living in the country illegally or have no documentation or are involved with crimes. Now, this is kind of a preface of the whole thing. Now, on an average, right, ICE kind of arrest around 130,000 people on an average on a year, and that kind of makes it to 300 arrest or kind of detains per day. Now, I was also trying to research more about what exactly has been the trend after President Trump took the oath or took the office. And according to New York Times, it seems that there are like around 7,400 arrests or some detains or proceedings have been already started against the people who were threat or were living here illegally. And that all happened within the span of 9 days. So you can clearly see that what Trump or President Trump's vouched for, that he wants to do mass deportations, he wants to remove people from US who are living here illegally or are basically involved in crimes, is kind of what ICE is kind of supporting to. And again, I'm not here to judge what is right and wrong, but from the fact that people who come here for the hard work through all the visa proceedings, all the paperwork, definitely they should be given the priority because they're living here legally and they're also maintaining their status. Now, there are a lot of situations and a lot of things that one can come across. Now, we kind of discussed that, well, ICE is there to uphold the public safety and also kind of enforce the immigration law. But sometimes you might be in a scenario where, let's say, ICE is doing a raid and then you are by mistake, or let's say by a situation, you are there and the officer starts to suspect you or starts asking you questions, right? Now, generally, ICE has a very big team and they basically have a lot of criminal analysts. They have a lot of data and they use this data and the analysis to understand what are the places where they could be, which could be potential for having people who are undocumented, illegally living or involved in crimes. But sometimes what happens when raids happen, you might be just fall in that situation. So if that kind of happens, and let's say you are Mr. John Doe and you're living here legally, you have all the paperwork that is needed, but officer suspects you or asks you questions. So the first thing that you have to do is you don't have to worry, because the only thing that matters is that you are living here legally, right? And you are working here legally. So if those two conditions are true, then you don't have to worry. But what you can do is, let's say the officer asks you that, well, do you have any proof that you are living here legally? So one thing that you can do is have a photo of your visa or a green card or the passport always with you, right? And then always the other thing that you can do is you can also have a number of your immigration attorney, whoever you are in contact with. If not, try to make sure that you have someone in the office or in your workplace that can vouch for that credibility. The other thing is that if they say that, well, they need the proof, you always tell that you have it in the home and you can bring it to them, or they can come with you and they can look at it. But as I said, there's nothing to worry about the whole situation. Again, as you have been seeing that, yes, ICE is very active and they are trying to deport people. They are already deporting some Indian nationals back to India. So yes, a lot of things are going on. I know this is all can cause a lot of worry. And even when you are living here legally, you can have this thought that, well, there's something that can happen to you. But from all the readings that I've done, from all the research that I've seen, if you're living here legally and you don't have any criminal activity going on, or you're not involved in any crime, then you don't have to worry. Follow the rules, follow the law, and just maintain your paperwork. That's the important thing. And regarding let's say, as I was talking about the situation, let's say if you are in this situation and you want to have an immigration attorney, so make sure you reach out to immigration attorneys on LinkedIn or through their websites and have a consult with them. Tell them, well, this is what your situation is, and if something like this happens, what should be your step, the step that you want to take. So immigration attorneys are there to help you, and the job that ICE has is also very tough, so we have to respect that as well. And apart from that, I think this was the video. I just wanted to make sure that the message is conveyed, that whatever is being done is not to harm the people living here legally, but just for the sake of public safety or people who are involved with crimes. So yeah, this was it. I will see you in the next video very soon. Till then, take care and have a wonderful weekend.